It's another political earthquake shaking the Indian Ocean. So, Madagascar, a nation long scarred by coups and poverty, once again finds itself under military control. The man behind it all, Colonel Randrianirina, the leader of a mutiny that toppled President Andry Rajoelina after weeks of mass protests. Let's get into this. He now says he's taking the position of president and that the armed forces will run the country for up to 2 years before any elections are held. The takeover has sparked celebration in some quarters, outrage in others, and, well, deep concerns across Africa. In an exclusive interview with the Associated Press, Colonel Randrianirina confirmed that he expects to be sworn in as Madagascar's new leader within days. There must be an oath taking, he said, to make my position official. We are staying here for at least 18 months, at most 2 years. His comments came as soldiers surrounded government buildings in the capital and, well, declared that the armed forces are now in charge of the island nation. The colonel's rise follows weeks of demonstrations by mostly young citizens, calling themselves Gen Z Madagascar, a movement demanding the resignation of President Rajoelina. And, well, I guess they got what they wanted. What began as anger over chronic water and electricity shortages soon spiraled into something bigger: frustration over corruption, joblessness, and government's failure to deliver basic services. By late September, the protest had spread nationwide. And last weekend, the standoff exploded when Randrianirina and his elite captured military unit defected from the president's command and, well, marched with protesters through the streets.
It feels like we've just been released from prison. We know all the harm he has done. I'm truly relieved that Andry Rajoelina is no longer in power. This is also a message to his successor. Learn from this and don't make the same mistakes.
Hours later, Rajoelina fled the country. Madagascar, a former French colony, has faced repeated political upheaval since gaining independence in 1960. Ironically, Andry Rajoelina, the man now ousted, first came to power through a coup himself in 2009, backed by the same military establishment that has now turned against him. What is really going on out in Madagascar? He was later elected president in 2018 and again in 2023, they're always making promises, promising stability and growth. But critics say his government has done little to tackle widespread poverty. Rajoelina's death, his dual French citizenship also stirred resentment, with many Madagascans accusing him of being disconnected from the struggle of ordinary citizens.
Rajoelina is not qualified to be a president and to lead a country. It's a person, he is good in communication, and he knows to manipulate people. He thinks that to run away to save himself is the most important. Whatever we say, Andrew will not come back anymore. Until today, I can say there is no any coup.
On Tuesday, the colonel appeared flanked by soldiers and announced that a military council was taking over power, a statement that drew cheers from protesters outside the barracks. He insisted the move was constitutional and not a coup. We had to take responsibility, he told reporters. There is no president, no Senate leader, no government, nothing left. The High Constitutional Court asked us to step in. But here's where the problem is. His claim sparked confusion, since he had earlier said that the same court's powers were now being suspended by the military. He now says the armed forces are accelerating the appointment of a new prime minister to form a transitional government, though he gave no date of when the elections might actually happen. Madagascar has witnessed at least 4 military uprisings since the 1970s, each promising reform and each leaving the country deeper in economic hardships. Today, over 75% of the population lives in poverty, and decades of political turmoil have scared away investors, crippled tourism, and eroded trust in democratic institutions. So far, international reaction has been cautious. The African Union has called an emergency meeting to discuss the situation, while Western governments have yet to issue formal statements. Analysts warn that while the youth protests reflected genuine frustration, the military's intervention risks repeating a painful cycle. Gen Zers, that's what they call themselves in Madagascar, have been on the streets for 2 weeks, said Olufemi Taiwo, professor of Africana Studies at Cornell University. They were demanding accountability and basic services, not a new junta. Africa does not need another coup. But we've seen what's happening in Nepal, and maybe this is just the right answer. So, as Madagascar's streets remain tense and soldiers tighten control, the question looms: will this latest youth-backed coup truly change things, or will it become yet another chapter in the country's long history of broken promises? I guess we'll find out. For the African Diaspora News Channel, I'm Whitney McKoy. We'll keep following this story and bringing you updates. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.